Yomalies, welcome to the Naked Mennonite, the place for all of Menno Simons' black sheep. I am your host, Stephen Harder of Grunthal, and I'm sure you all know my parents, Diedrich and Helena Harder, also of Grunthal. And I am just so glad that you're here to join us today. On the party line, I've got a very special phone call here lined up. Today, we're going to be talking with Mr. Patrick Siemens of Steinbach. Now, I need to warn you now, just in advance a little bit, that Mr. Patrick Siemens, he is actually an atheist. Yo, right in Steinbach. I don't know if he's the only one, but I know that I personally have never spoken to an atheist before, but I'm not too worried, because I know that I've been, washed in the blood of the lamb that was slain, and I know that I have eaten the flesh and drank the blood of the Son of Man, and I've donned the complete armor of God, including strapping on the sword of the word. So, I feel pretty confident that we can, win him back to our loving and gracious Lord and Savior here today. I think we can give that a shot here today. So, I'm going to give him a ring on the party line here and see if we can get a hold of him here. Now, just let me pull it up here. Okay.
Hello.
Oh, hello. Is this Patrick Siemens of the Steinbach Exchange?
Yes, it is.
Oh, good. It's Patrick, and he's taken out life insurance. Or I don't know, maybe he's thrown away his eternal life insurance. I don't know. No, I'm
Time
just
will tell.
fudging with you. Yo. Yeah, no, it's Stephen Harder calling from the Naked Mennonite, and I was just hoping that we could have a little bit of a chitty chat here, on the party line, and just get to know you a little bit more and see if we can help bring you back into the fold. So thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me today. I really do appreciate it. Straight off, I want you to know that I've never actually spoken with, a real live atheist before. So just so you know, but I want you to know that I'm here with a totally open mind, a complete blank slate, totally non-judgmental or anything of you and your evil ways. So, if at any point during the conversation you need to, I don't know what you people do, whether it's like drink the blood of a virgin or, go sacrifice a goat to a demon or whatever. I want you to know that that is totally your business. That's totally your call there. And I thought maybe we could have like a little code phrase or something like, oh, maybe I don't know. Like you could, if you needed to step away for a moment, you could say, I have to go worship Lucifer, my king. And if you say that, I'll just know that you need to excuse yourself for a moment. Does that sound like an okay arrangement? Is that something you're comfortable with?
I really appreciate you making me feel so at home and comfortable and willing to accommodate me like that. That's fantastic.
Well, if we got to be the light and the salt in a very dark place, Patrick. So it's my pleasure to be your humble servant that way. Okay, good. Well, then, without further ado, we got to just take care of a little bit of housekeeping here. As you know, our program here is called the Naked Mennonite. So, everyone on it needs to be two things, and the first one, of course, is naked. So I can tell you that I'm sitting here in my kitchen at the table right now with not really a thing on. It's a little chilly in here, so I did put my black hat back on. But otherwise, it's just me in my anniversary clothes, you might say. And are you, like, are you? Are you? Are you?
Um, I'm wearing a sock.
Oh, okay, okay. On
Uh,
your foot?
uh, I'll plead the fifth
Okay, okay, that's
or the
totally
second.
fine.
I forget what it is.
That I don't even know. I didn't finish my way through school. But where it well, I think if I can wear a hat, you can wear a sock. That's totally
Great.
fine.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Oh yeah. Well, I'm very accommodating here. Okay, now next we need to know if you are in fact a Mennonite, because you can't be on this program if you aren't. So I've got a little quiz here, just 3 questions, really simple. First off, where are you from?
I am from Yontzid,
Okay.
from Rosa Noord,
Oh, okay,
the
okay.
North of Roses.
I hear that's very much like landmark on our side here. I've been
Oh,
told.
okay. Wow. I don't know Landmark well enough to say that. I feel like Rosenord is sort of the mini Steinbach. I
Oh,
have lots of
really?
roots. My deeper roots are from Steinbach. Steinbach,
Oh,
Blumenort, that area.
okay. Oh, okay. Well, welcome back. Good to have you here, I think.
Thank you.
Okay, cool. So you're hailing from Rosa Nort. Okay, I'm putting a big check mark next to that
Yeah,
one there.
yo, yo,
Okay,
yo.
check mark. Okay. Okay, second question. Did you go to Bible college?
I did. Yep.
Oh, super. Here at the SBC?
No, at that Wildlich Providence College.
Oh,
Yeah,
at Prov. Oh,
yeah.
did you like take courses at Prov and then like transfer them to somewhere else, or were you just going to be at Prov?
Well, I went into Prov thinking I was going to become a missionary pilot. So I had,
Oh, oh, of course. Then yeah, you have to go to Prov then. Okay.
yes, yes.
Missionary pilot. Okay, wonderful. Oh, that's very noble of you wanting to fly into the mission field like that. That's a great idea. Okay, okay. So then, but you didn't play on any sports teams or anything like that, right?
Well, I tried, but I wasn't good enough for either of the volleyball
Oh,
or the hockey teams, unfortunately.
okay. Well, that says a good thing about you then. You got your priorities straight then. Okay. Okay, and third, hypothetical situation. If you are sitting in a restaurant with someone else from the church and the waitress asks you what you want to drink, what is the correct answer?
Oh boy, correct according to Mennonite tradition or
No,
what
well,
I
yeah,
would
the correct.
actually do?
No, no, well, the correct Mennonite answer.
Oh,
There's
okay.
only one Mennonite answer.
Um, Probably just water because it's free and there's
Oh,
definitely no alcohol in it.
yeah. Okay, there's two right answers then. That's a good answer too. Yeah, yeah. With lemon or without the lemon?
Oh, no, lemon, that's I don't think that's a tradition I grew up with.
No, no.
Although
That's.
lukewarm water sometimes was on the menu.
Hmm.
It's easier on the stomach or something like that.
Yo, yo, oh, Patrick, you got 100% on this quiz here. I gotta let you know. Well, yeah, you no, you got 100% for sure. Those are three solid answers. So, yeah, just so excited to have you here and to listen to a little bit of your story and just understand your thinking a little bit here. I was talking with the pastor the other day, and he gave me a list of questions just to run through with you here. And if you could answer them as honestly as possible, that'd be great. So, first off, why did you choose to stop believing in our Lord and Savior?
Yeah, that's a great question there, Stephen.
Well, it's a little bit of a gotcha, I think.
Yeah, uh, I'm gonna say there wasn't a choice.
What? No.
Yeah,
Everything's a choice. We have free will. What do you mean, Patrick? Please elaborate a little bit for us.
well, I'm
For-
nearly convinced that there isn't free will, and I'm convinced that Because there isn't free will, there isn't a whole lot of choice. Our circumstances and our upbringing and our wiring and everything about us pretty much just decides for us what we're going to decide. So, um, I would say the closest I could answer that question would be it didn't make sense anymore to believe. That's why I
Mm,
stopped.
I see. I see. Interesting. And how long ago was that approximately?
Ooh, I don't know that there was an official date. I'm gonna say it probably happened around mm, 15 years ago.
Okay, so then you've been on this course for a while now, then.
Yeah, yep. And I don't know that I've always called myself an atheist or said that I certainly don't believe, but I've been on some variation of it. Agnostic, humanist, um, atheist in its most basic translation as A for non, not anti, just non-theist.
Interesting. And when you came to this revelation, how did your the people closest to you that you shared it with, how did they respond?
Well, the closest people to me would be my partner, um, my wife, and for her it was a challenge for sure. Um, she didn't like hearing that, and she wasn't in the same place as I, so it took some time to get to understand each other and for her to accept me for who I was and lose her fear of my salvation or lack thereof. Um, and a lot of just avoiding. There's a lot of people that would be or would have been close to me that have not talked to me about it at all. And so, yeah, a whole gamut, wide range.
Interesting. Huh. And for yourself, what kind of sensations were you going through when you're losing this faith? Well, like if you were, why don't you rewind us a little bit and give us just kind of an understanding of your background and uh, you're saying that you wanted to be a missionary pilot. That's someone who isn't talking about being a commercial aviator. It sounds like you had the things of God on mind. So tell us a little bit more about the Patrick before he had those thoughts.
Well, I grew up very Mennonite in a Mennonite church, going to church every Sunday, led to the Lord at a young age by probably my mother. I grew up in a very Christian town, as Rosenort is, or certainly was when I was there. And everyone around me was Christian, and it was a full on Christian bubble, very mono as far as race or religion, or even within Christianity, we were all EMCers pretty well. There was only one church in town, but all three of the others were EMC Mennonite. And then, yeah, I ended up um, wanting to go to Prov to get my pilot's license, and being a missionary pilot sounded exciting. It sounded like a job that I would jump out of bed and go do with enthusiasm, and I'd be spreading the word of God and evangelizing, helping people in various ways, medically, education wise, all sorts of things. It was just going to be great. Um, Living overseas would have been so fun and exciting, I thought, as well.
And like there's also, a practical element to that type of aid as well, right? It isn't just that you're going there to preach or going there to translate the Bible. You're sounds like you're excited by the prospect of lending tangible aid to people too. Am I reading too much into that?
No, that's true. That's all part of it. That would have been good as well. But
Hmm.
at the time, I probably would have been thrilled to be handing out Bibles. At that point in my life, I would have thought that would have been a good thing.
Interesting. Cool. So then, like, is there was there a first, crack in the foundation that you can recall? Or what led to the crumbling of what was that first crack in the foundation?
Well, if my memory serves me correctly, this is what I tell people still, is that at Providence there was a shift. The foundation started shifting. And I think it was a combination of meeting other Christians from other denominations other than EMC, and these other Christians had other opinions than I did. They thought differently, they interpreted the Bible differently, slightly, but differently. Um, and then also seeing that the professors were giving a more maybe scientific history of the Bible than the history I was taught in Sunday school, and that there was many authors and possible and plausible authors of various books of the Bible. Moses borrowed from several sources that predated him. A lot of the stories out of the Bible were borrowed from other cultures and other faiths, other religions. Yeah, and it all started to make me ask questions about this little sort of juvenile faith I'd grown up with and been given. And I started to explore that. And what I wanted to do was what a good Sunday school teacher actually told me was at some point in my life, I'm going to have to wipe down this religion that I was handed off of its foundation. And the foundation is God. And then rebuild my own faith on that foundation. And so I tried that. I was so confused and kind of taken aback by all the things I was hearing at Prov that I decided, okay, I'm going to kind of just start with there's a God and the Christian God, and I'm going to try and build that up. Um, so I tried doing that. And what I found is that that foundation I started questioning too. And I never could build anything back on that foundation because the foundation itself faded as I investigated. And I wanted to investigate fairly. So what I did is I tried to hear both sides of the story. The non-theist, atheists, as well as the believing Christians. I wanted to see them speak to each other in real time because going to one website sounds very convincing, and then going to the opposite side website sounds very convincing. Well, how would they sound if they were face to face? So I started listening to a lot of debates, and I thought, this is going to be great. I'm going to see why I should believe what I have always been told to believe, and that Christianity is going to win because it's the truth. And if it is the truth, it's going to come out and be the truth. And it never did. The atheists, although maybe not the most eloquent speakers or debaters, were still winning in my mind. They may not technically win the debate, but they had the more convincing, logical, reasoned arguments, in my opinion. And yeah, so it's ironic that Providence College was what started steering me away.
Well, I don't think you're the first. I think I've heard that a time or two as well. So maybe we should take that up with their president and see what they're doing wrong there to make
Yes.
people question their faith and think deeply about it. That's not what we're about. So just to clarify here, you took the teachings of your, Sunday school teachers and the teachings of these professors, and you listened to the professors? Do you think that a professor's opinion weighs more heavily than an untrained Sunday school? Well, sorry, not untrained. Because they've got their little booklet there, and I'm sure they
Yeah.
have an orientation. at the end of summer, probably, maybe beginning of September every year, where they get some training on how to be a Sunday school teacher. So you're saying that you think that someone who is more educated is a more reliable source of information than a Sunday school teacher?
You know, generally speaking, I would say yes. There are exceptions to that, unfortunately, as we're
Ah,
seeing. Because people from every side of every opinion can bring their experts in that appear to be educated and knowledgeable. But yes, no, I saw the depth of study and knowledge in the Bible, and I'd never seen it in that depth in Sunday school, that sort of knowledge. And so I did give a little more weight to what the professors were telling me. But
mm, and
they were still saying, you still got to have this faith in God and that God was still real and that it was still a wonderful story. And yeah, I had a hard time hanging on to that wonderfulness of it all.
so they were able to help chip away at your foundation, but they didn't have something worthwhile to build off of.
Well, I imagine that they would say they did, and maybe if I'd stayed in school longer, I would learn their version of that foundation. But I don't think I'd be convinced by it anymore. I yeah, I think had I stayed in the faith and sort of modeled it after my professors, it would have been a lot more liberal and open-minded, um, non-judgmental. So yeah,
That doesn't sound very Christian, Patrick.
yeah, not according to the old Patrick either.
So, then, like, what does that do? What did that do for you in the time when you think about your eternal self? Like, was that something you had peace over? It's just like, well, it is what it is. Were there times where you were scared? Were you doubtful? Were you unsure? How did you grapple with the idea of losing out on that eternal salvation that you had always had in your back pocket growing up?
Yeah, I don't know that I'm over that even now. I think if I would listen to the right message or the right tearful plea from a believer, there's still a tug somewhere there, and I attribute that to, you know, 30 plus years of indoctrination, and I know it's a quite negative word, but a brainwashing of sorts, where, if I'd, let's say, burnt my hand in a bonfire as a child, even now I'd likely have some leftover remnants of that PTSD. I don't know if that's the right term, but of that to this day. Um, and so, certainly at first, when I realized I was walking away from that, it was scary. And that kept me in it probably longer than if there was no threat of hell. So, yeah, that was quite fearful. And it was something for my wife to get through as well. She read a book by Rob Bell called Love Wins, and I started recommending that to my Christian friends and anyone who would say they were worried about my faith or my eternity, I should say. And I feel like he made just as good an argument as anyone else I heard as to why, even as a Christian, he wouldn't believe that I was going to hell as an atheist. And so that was comforting to my wife. I don't know if it's been comforting to anyone else. I think you argue your current beliefs on hell, and you're hesitant to change them. So yeah, people would argue against that book, I'm sure, if they didn't want to believe that or weren't comfortable switching to that. But over time, yeah, I've become more comfortable. Now I'm mostly convinced that when my life is over, then the lights just go off and I go back to what it was like before I was born. I don't recall suffering before I was born, and I don't suffer in a dreamless sleep. And I'm currently assuming that that's what it'll be like.
So just to encapsulate that, you're saying that you don't believe that you're going to be punished forever and ever and ever in ever unending torment for, sins of Adam and Eve.
No. And I find it,
Weird.
yeah, strange, hey? I find it very hard to reconcile the good, just, loving God that would condemn me to eternity of separation from Him, and not only that, but as some form of torture on top of it, just for not finding the hard evidence I require to believe. And I haven't heard a good response to that dilemma.
But Patrick, isn't it smarter to, believe in the Bible and be wrong than to not believe in it and be wrong? Like if you had to place a bet,
Yeah, Pascal's
which one
wager.
says, yeah, oh, is that what? I don't know who Pascal is. That sounds
Well,
French. I don't truck with no Catholics here.
no, yeah,
You're not
no,
a Catholic, are you?
no, no. In light of the recent news, I will, yeah.
Oh, that's why you've stepped away from your Catholic faith.
Yeah. Um, yeah, that Pascal's wager is a good one, and that one was convincing to me for a period of time. That what's the harm? Why not believe even if you're wrong? Because at least you will have lived a good life, and you've obeyed the Ten Commandments, and um, yeah,
Yeah, you're a happy person. You get to spend every Sunday morning at church and every Wednesday evening at church. And, you always have something to give 10% of all your money to, going to
yeah.
a good cause,
There's
making
lots
sure
of
that,
wonderful things. Yeah.
yo. But that you're going to roll the dice and you're going to say it's not worth the risk. You don't
Sadly,
want all those benefits?
sadly, that believing in the Bible came with a lot of things that I believe are harmful now. And
No.
I'm not saying all Christians have these beliefs, but my beliefs in the Bible came along with discrimination beliefs, and it came with some sort of superiority, and it
Whoa,
came
whoa.
with
Someone from Rosenort thought that they were superior to someone else? No. Say it's not so.
wow, yeah, it could be egotistical over there too. Yeah. No, I don't think that having my old beliefs in the Bible would be benefiting me now. I'm a better person now than I was then, I believe. I don't need
Hmm.
to judge anyone for their gender or choice of gender or non-gender, or I don't have to um yeah. It's even changed the way I look at uh, the justice system, prisons, sentencing, a lot of things.
Hmm.
And I believe in a more positive way.
But how is that possible if you don't have any morals?
Right. Yeah. Well, that's where the humanism comes in.
Oh,
And
humanism. What is that?
yeah, good question.
That's not in the Bible.
No, no, it isn't. No, I enjoy being positive with humans and enjoying the positive attributes of being human. And not only humanism, I think that one's even a slightly narrow worldview. almost, although I guess it depends how you interpret it or describe it. Because I would extend to animals and nature and the planet that it's probably best to just try to be as positive to everything on the planet, everyone on the planet, every animal, every plant, the climate. And it's not easy, and I'm not doing a great job of it. It's something to aspire to. And yeah, I live more by humanist values than the traditional or my old Christian values.
Okay, but when you say animals, you don't mean every animal, right?
Well, I do slap mosquitoes and flies, so I have a ways to go yet. I haven't
Okay,
arrived.
but like pigs and cows, though, like,
I'm having a hard time lately with eating meat, especially factory farmed meat. And
oh no,
oh, yeah, I'm not sure what to do about it yet.
oh Patrick.
I have ideas of what I should be doing about it, but enacting on those haven't gone very far yet.
Oh, that's interesting there, because I know that in the Bible it says that every animal is just good for eating, so that's I just take the Bible at its word. If it says that snakes are good to eat, then let's eat snakes, and if it's good to dance with poisonous snakes and not get bit, well, I'm not going to dance with a snake,
Well, no,
obviously.
no. Yeah.
No, that'd be sinful.
Dancing, yeah, we that's what I like about Steinbach too. We have the same roots in Rosenart. That dancing, oh boy,
Mm-hmm.
that's a
Mm-hmm.
big no.
Once a year.
Yeah, for which
That's
occasion?
it. For your anniversary, of course, with
Oh
the
yes, yeah,
same lovely woman that you married, 12 years ago or whatever it was in your late teens there.
yeah, right.
Oh,
Yeah.
so why do you place your faith in science instead of the Bible of God? Why
Hmm.
why is why is don't you think that the evidence of the Bible is just as convincing, if not more convincing, than science? If science says that, oh yeah, look at all this stuff, it just came from nothing. This pocket watch is just, floating through space here. Oh, I guess it just came from nothing. Why do you? That sounds. I'm just going to be honest. To me, that sounds a little far fetched. Compared to a loving, gracious, creating God who made everything for us to use up and enjoy here. One sounds a little bit more realistic than the other. Why do you place your faith in science when it doesn't have that many good answers?
Yeah. Well, because science changes, and that's
Ah,
actually good. That
no.
science
Why would that
changes.
be good?
Yeah. And science is wrong, and science can admit that it's wrong, and science can then correct the wrong to be a bit more right after. And with a whole bunch of those wrongs and a bit more rights, then we get to have this conversation that we're having on our phones, on the internet, using satellites in space. And we also get to know that the earth is round and not flat with four corners, as the Bible may Im- imply. Um, the Bible has a lot of medical treatments in it that I don't know that anyone really looking back would use those for their ailments. They'd likely go to their doctor and use the ones that science has developed. And so, for practical solutions to problems, science has a far better track record. And I think even your 10 commandments would be changed if you had science and reasoning as your basis for making them,
Hmm.
because they do omit a few things and they have some things in there that are sort of pointless.
Well, I don't know about that. When God says, don't have any other gods before me, you know, it sounds like he's saying that you can have other gods after him, but we all know that there are no other gods. Although when he was, speaking those words to Moses, clearly they had other gods, around, made up ones, of course, not the real one.
Of course, of
Um,
course.
but he wasn't. He was telling them not to worship those ones before him or at all is kind of what the subtext is. And then like the next few commandments are just like really saying, hey, no, really, I am the only one you're supposed to be worshiping here.
Yeah.
I wonder why he's so hung up on being worshipped. I don't know if I was making creation, I don't know if I'd be like, hey, worship me all the time because I'm so awesome. But whatever, if I was, I guess,
Well,
it's just,
but maybe he's got dad issues.
oh, well,
I don't
yeah.
know.
If your dad killed you,
Um, yeah, I heard a nice comparison between the love chapter and God's love, as uh,
oh,
as shown in the Old Testament. Slow to anger, uh, the whole list. What is that?
hmm.
Corinthians 13 or something like that.
Of
Maybe you
course,
can pull it
of
up.
course. Oh,
And
I should know it right off
love
the
is
top of
patient, love
my
is
head here.
kind, never boasts. Oh boy.
Endures all, love never
Yes, endures
fails.
all.
But
Yeah.
when there are prophecies, they will cease. Where there are tongues, they will be stilled. Where there is knowledge, it will pass away. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part. But when perfection comes, the imperfect disappears. When I was a child, I thought like a child, something like a child, believed like a child. But when, oh no, I lost it. That was a
Back
little
to Sunday
rusty.
school. No, that was
Oh,
probably a summer camp one. I think I memorized that one in summer camp, along with Psalm 119, something like that. Yeah, a few of
I
those.
I know I did the Beatitudes in Sunday school.
Okay,
It
yeah.
was very impressive. We said them in front of the church, and everyone clapped afterwards.
Yeah. No, I find it interesting and telling that the attributes of God seem very human. God is God
Hmm.
God is jealous. He's a jealous God, and he's vengeful,
Hmm.
and it says that. It says it straight out in the Bible. He's jealous and he's vengeful. And it shows.
But
It
but then
shows.
Jesus came and erased all that
Yeah,
stuff
right.
there.
Yeah, I don't even know
That's just for the Jews.
why do we even have that Old Testament connected to our New Testament, right?
Well,
Well, only when it's
it's
handy, or I guess we don't
well
want to get
just
rid of the Ten Commandments or something.
and it has some good instructions on how to treat the gays and the divorcees.
And how to beat your slaves.
Yeah, yeah, got to make
That's
sure they
handy.
live for a couple days. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Otherwise,
Not that we'd have slaves, because that would be wrong. But
well, not according to the Bible.
well, that's just cultural.
Yeah,
That's just cultural.
yeah,
If you understand the context
yeah, yeah,
of what is being written in,
yeah,
all makes sense.
yeah.
They probably didn't cover that at Prov.
And yeah, you depending on how you read the Bible, then the Crusades were great. They were fantastic.
Ah, well,
Like, yeah,
it's gotta take back Jerusalem. That's God's city,
and
after all.
the Bible was interpreted so that residential schools were a good thing, right?
Um, well, the Catholics and the what you call it, the Anglicans, that was their kind of thing. I wasn't
Right.
around for those conversations.
Yeah. Well, don't look too closely because the Mennonite uh, churches, there were few involved in residential schools as well.
Well, but those were the good ones.
Oh, right, right. Yeah,
They were doing
I
the
found that
good kind
interesting
of
too.
genocide.
That people say, oh, there's people that said that the residential schools were okay. They actually had a good time there, and they learned some things, and they had nice teachers, and yeah, despite all that, I think being forced to go and being removed from your family and not being allowed to speak your language or taught your language or have your long hair, those are still all things that result in some culture loss and damage. And yeah,
If not to the kids, then to the parents.
yep.
Let's be honest. Hmm.
Yeah, people. I heard someone speaking this week on the radio who said when they came back from residential school, and I don't know that they said a lot of, regardless of what they experienced at residential school, just the fact they came back to their people, um, not knowing the language and having their cultural norms sort of stripped from them, they felt like outsiders inside their own tribe. And that alone, even if they were not sexually abused at residential schools, even if they were fed well, even if somebody was kind to them, those things, like feeling awkward and out of place in your own family, is bad enough to scar someone for life. So I don't know that there would be any residential schools that would have been good or okay.
Well, clearly the intention behind them is far from, um, regardless of how they may or may not have been run. Um, it was it was a the purpose there was clearly to wipe out a people, to assimilate them into what was the right society, and that is inexcusable by any measure. Well, Patrick, I'm looking at the time here, and I think my hymn sing program is about to come on. But I think we got some more things that we need to be talking about. Could we come back next week and chit chat a little bit more?
Absolutely.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you so much for that. I would really appreciate that. I don't think I've quite gotten all my points out here that I want to tell you to make you believe again.
I'll
But
make sure I have enough prips and schnetje to tide me
perfect.
over.
Excellent. Excellent. I'll bring some squeaky cheese, you know.
Ooh, schmack shine.
Yo. So I'll see everybody here again next week. But until then, this is Stephen Harder reminding you that underneath our Sunday best, we're all naked. We'll see you again next week.